What's going on, folks? My name is Joe, aka J to the OE. Welcome and welcome back to Joe Eats Games, where we talk about video games, food, nerd stuff, or anything else that's going on in my life. I've been playing video games since the 80s. Video games are addicting, man. There's something about it that gives you that dopamine hit about being in the story. The difference between video games and reading is instead of you reading about the protagonist or antagonist, you are the protagonist or antagonist while in a video game. And so it's kind of active entertainment that I'm a part of. And there's so many games that have just hooked me and has gotten me addicted, and I could not stop playing them. So this is my top 10 most addicting games of all time. Before we get into any of that, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and let me know what's the most addictive game you've ever played. Alright, so what do I mean by addicting? Addicting means I could not put it down. I could not stop thinking about it. I looked up Reddit forums on everything to see how I could do it better, and I just played it over and over again. That I've had to have logged in at least 100 hours into these games, because usually, once I finish it, I'm good. I wouldn't replay it or anything like that. But these games, man, I could not stop playing, and I have also replayed it and have gone back to it. In no particular order, the first game I'm going to talk about, which I don't have a physical in yet, but it's equally addicting, is Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley was one of the first games that I ever got on a Nintendo Switch as a download on the eShop. That was before I started caring about collecting physical. And man, I don't know why I liked it. Stardew Valley, you were kind of a businessman. Was it your uncle or your grandpa dies and he leaves you a deed to a land, and you go in that land and it's like a farmland, and then you get to live in the community and get to know the people there, get married, have kids. Or you could go multiplayer and play with other people and be in the same town. Like, this was kind of like a lifestyle sim. Each day only was about, 15 minutes each day? Or you'd run out of energy. It's also a dungeon crawler. You could go into dungeons and search for gold or any ores or anything like that. It's also a relationship sim where you can, again, get married, have kids. There's so many things to do in Stardew Valley, and a lot of times when I can't think of what to play, I'll just spend an hour or so working on my farm again, meeting my twins, 2 kids, spending time with Leah. I don't understand why I was addicted to that game, but it was great. I remember my wife watching, and she's like, what do you do? I'm like, plant things, build things, feed my chickens, feed my cows and pigs, and then do it all over again. Like, yeah, I loved it. Another addicting game was kind of in the same vein, was Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, this was kind of a perfect storm. We all know what happened in March of 2020. COVID happened, and this came out like a week or so after everything shut down, and it gave us a way to connect with our friends. That turnip stock thing, me and my buddies would go all over different islands just to try to break the game and find millions of dollars for the turnip stock. We would visit each other's islands. That's how we would visit each other during the lockdown. And yeah, I loved it. I played this game for months. This was the game I played every day. We'd put some hours in Animal Crossing, and then we'd play something else. And then right before bed, I just wanted to check in on my neighbors. And then, yeah, so Animal Crossing, New Horizons, how do I describe this? It's like Stardew Valley, kind of. You're in an island, and you live with anthropomorphic animals. And Aurora is my girl. She's great. Yeah, you build it. You could terraform it. I had a little Zen garden and then some slides and everything in between there. The bad part, why I stopped, was when I got the Animal Crossing Switch. And I forgot that your data did not pull over. And so I lost my entire island, and I didn't feel like restarting all over again. So, yeah, but that was my bad. I knew about that, and I just was too excited, and I wasn't thinking. And so, Animal Crossing New Horizons, super addictive game. Another addicting game, now we're out of the cozy portion and into the super RPG portion. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is basically a D&D game in your consoles. Yeah, you roll 20, you roll perception points and all of that. And man, it is different every time you play it. I'm still playing my first campaign, and I've started a new campaign because I just wanted to. You know, this thing is super addicting. The story, it's so robust. The story is wherever you want to take it. You can do whatever you want. Yeah, that's what I really, really liked about it. It's super immersive. I love the fantasy theme. And yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 is still something that I constantly play on my Xbox. And so, Baldur's Gate 3, super addicting game. That's it. The next game I want to talk about is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, when it first came out, I didn't get it, you know. I didn't get it on the PS4, Xbox One, and honestly, they made a lot of false promises that they didn't keep. But what's cool about No Man's Sky is that they didn't give up, and they kept updating and updating, and by the time it got to the Nintendo Switch, aside from this not being multiplayer, this was still really amazing. And I got caught up visiting all the planets, just going through a random storyline. Like, I remember going out of a light speed warp, or whatever they call it. It's been a minute since I played this game. Light speed warp, and then I saw this freighter getting attacked. So I defended the freighter, and then they invited me to be their captain. And then now I'm a captain of a fleet of freighters, and then I'm sending things around. I can build my own ship. I hear there's a lot more stuff here now, and I think it's been over a year since I've gotten back to it. But now I really want to get back to it again because I hear all the updates are really cool. But yeah, No Man's Sky, I could not put it down. The only reason I put it down was because of this next game. It came out on the same year, and shortly after I put in like 100 hours that this game just came out. And what's that game? Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal was my game of the year that year. Again, it came out. If this was in PS3, it came out on PS4 Royal version. I kind of played it, but I could not get into it. And then it came out on the Switch, and I wanted to give it another go. I got the steel book here. What? You know, and that's when I got hooked on it. You know, I wanted to play every storyline, every thread, be friends with every person, and yeah, like, this is the game that took me off of No Man's Sky, and I poured hours. I mean, this is normally a $90 to $100 game, so, and it's worth it. You know, for me, it's kind of like I know what I'm putting myself through if I'm gonna play a 90 to 100 hour game, and so I'm all about story, you know, and gameplay, but the story needs to keep me there. And this story kept me there and kept me wanting more, and I was really, really sad that this had to end. So, Persona 5 Royal, one of the most addicting games of all time. The next game that's super addicting to me is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and man, I love all the DLCs here. Usually I'm not a DLC guy, but I love the 3 DLCs, or what, two Hearts, what is it? Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. I thought that was really, really great. They furthered the story a lot, and yeah, Witcher 3 is the game that I keep coming back to. If I don't want a cozy game, and so I don't want to, you know, just do a farm, maybe I'll go to The Witcher and hunt. You know, The Witcher 3 is a third-person action game. And yeah, I love the fantasy theme. You have a nice group of friends, and you have kind of a surrogate daughter that you're raising there. And yeah, you could just do whatever you want in this town. You know, you could hunt monsters. That's what you are. A witcher is you hunt witches and other different monsters. What I liked about this is that you had to research every monster if you really wanted to get that experience, like learn what the monster is about, learn the weaknesses, how to trap it, and then hunt it. And I thought that was a really deep mechanic. And I like the fighting here. You know, it's super flowy. Yeah, I know a lot of people didn't like it, but, you know, I liked it. And so, Witcher 3, one of the most addicting games for me. The next game is a little basic. You know, this is honestly, it was Halo and sports games. Is why, Halo and sports games is why I started playing Xbox. And college football 25 is super addicting for me. Mostly because me and my buddies are playing the Dynasty mode. And I think we're like 7 years in. And so we're getting our freshmen up. They're redshirting them. And I turned Florida, the Gators, which was a 3-star program, into a 5-star program. And then this season we all took 1-star programs, and so we want to build that up again. I'm at Western Michigan, the Broncos. I don't know anything about them. I don't follow college football, but I love football in general, and it's just really cool being able to do like the scouting and recruiting and, over and over again, and playing football and learning and their different plays, and it's really, really fun. And so college football 25 is really fun and addicting for me because I can play this over and over and over again. And so, boom. The next game, I do not understand. It's another game that I don't understand why it's so addicting. It's just so satisfying. Power Wash Simulator. What's this game about? It simulates you power washing things. The first thing was I power washed a van, and then somebody's backyard, and then I power washed a park. That thing took me like a week, but I could not put it down. It was just so satisfying seeing the dirt go. Now, I remember my wife watching me, and she's like, well, you could actually power wash the house. And I'm like, yeah, but can I do that on the couch? What's cool about this, too, it's multiplayer. You guys and a group of friends can go and me and my buddies power wash the train. And now you can power wash like Shrek's house and power wash a Mars rover and all these different DLCs that, I'm not going to buy, but it's cool to do that. Unless there's an IP that I really want. Do they power wash Star Wars stuff? Because that would be cool, and I would probably buy that. But anyways, Power Wash Simulator, super addicting. I can't put it down. I still play it when I'm bored, and yeah. I liked it so much that I bought this knowing that there's no game card. And it's just a download code, but I wanted the box for some reason to try to get the physical. So, yeah, Power Wash Simulator. The next addicting game, Unicorn Overlord. Unicorn Overlord is by Atlas and Vanillaware. Man, I remember when I just saw the trailer, I didn't know anything about it except Atlas and Vanillaware were involved, and that was enough for me. So, Unicorn Overlord, you play as that guy, and you have almost up to, I forgot now, 60-something characters, and man, I cared about all of them. The story was so immersive. I did not want this to end. I probably played that final battle over and over again. I poured in a lot of hours in this game, and I loved it. This is one of the best strategy RPGs that I've ever played, and I liked it because you're not exactly on a chessboard. You just send people out, and you could coordinate with the time, and yeah, I really, really enjoyed doing that and being really creative about how I did my my setups on my units, on who was the front, who was in the back, and who to pair up. And I had a tank unit, I had an arrow unit, and yeah, it was just really, really fun to mess with those different units. And you can mess with what their attacks are. Like, you could go, the attacks are so deep. You could have somebody attack first, somebody attack last, and based on those multipliers will be how amazing or how devastating your attacks would be. And of course, depending on who you're attacking as well. But yeah, this was so deep, and I loved it. Unicorn Overlord, one of the most addicting games of all time. And the last addicting game of all time for me, Fire Emblem Three Houses. This was probably the first game I played over and over. I got all 4 storylines. There's the main 3, and then there's a secret one with Eldergard. And I heard on the forums that there's a 5th one, and so I'm gonna have to try it. I love Fire Emblem ever since I played Fire Emblem Awakening, and when this Fire Emblem came out, I was really, really in love with it, and I could not put it down. I don't usually replay games, but Fire Emblem Three Houses is a game that I replayed over and over again because I wanted to see what the stories were. And it's a game that I even play if I just want a nice strategy RPG. And so, yeah, Fire Emblem Three Houses, one of the most addicting games I've ever played. So that's it. Those are my top 10 most addicting games I've ever played. What are the most addicting games you've ever played? Let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will see you later, or I will see you another time.